neck and a possibility for him to get a little bit compromised here, and that did play into the realm for one Dante Leon, who basically gets his revenge. And Andy's, he doesn't want to sit there for the hand raise. So I think he knows that this sucks, and he's just waiting it out. Dante Leon telling the crowd to get on their feet. Andy did not give his hand to the referee to hold, and Andy Varela shakes his hand. And I think we're going to go to Dante Leon because I think we have to ask the question. Yeah, there you go. So feedback is going to him right now. Dante says nobody likes getting smacked in the face. Maybe he got frustrated. Maybe he couldn't pass guard, so that's why he smacked him in the face. So he says, all respect to him, and I know we'll fight again. I mean, all things considered, that's a very nice response from Dante Leon. And Dante says that part of the tip off to him was that he noticed that every time he was shooting in, his head was very low. So in doing so, that kind of gave him the tip off. This might be in his near future. And he says he had a good bite. He gave a good thing. He gave a good fight on that. And Dante says, "Don't worry about it. Just give me a person because I can do any weight." He said he wants to win titles. He says 155 or 170 title. He wants it. So here's the thing. There is no such thing as a title currently from the UFC Fight Pass. Doesn't mean it can't happen. It's just they haven't made one. What an interesting proposition there by Dante Leon for him to essentially just say, like, hey, you don't have one, create one. May not be a bad idea. I don't know how much the Fight Pass people love being told what to do, but it's not the worst. Oh, this is a great question. This one says, "Are you AI generated?" Good lord, no, I'm not AI generated. Thank you for that. It says, "I have a scary joke about math, but I'm too scared to say it." You nerds. Look at this. Look at these people. Thank you guys so much for showing up. My name is Rafa Sparza. You're watching the Grappling Hour. I hope you're having a great day. We just saw a hell of a fucking run by Dante Leon. And you know what? That deserves a cheers. So here's what I'm going to do. We have a rule on the show which says if you get a finish within regulation, you get a cheers, you get a toast. So this one goes out to Dante Leon. Dante, we do this dance almost every single time, but you created an incredible proposition after such an impressive guillotine finish. I give you the invitation to come on the show, and then you don't come. In fact, I gave you it once, and I said come on the show, and you almost did. And you almost did twice. I'm going to say this right now, Don Taylor. I think it's time you come on the show. Let's talk about how we can get Fight Pass to create the division for a belt that you do deserve. Because submitting a PGF winner, a notable highlight machine in Andy Varela, not a easy thing to do. So cheers to you, sir. Come on the show. We'd love to have you for a proper conversation, and I hope all is well. Cheers. All right. So on our show, we do a toast to those who get finishes within regulation, and that's what we're doing. And that's why we're doing it. Did you just tell me no cursing? That's not how this works. No. Appreciate it, you guys. You guys are adorable. Yeah, the way my shows work, there's always going to be cursing. You are a guest here. You're coming into my home. You don't tell someone at their home how to live. You can make suggestions. It's just not going to happen. Anyway, super stoked about that. And as Buji Gatami said, not only is Dante a monster, yes, they even did take out the ref, which I would have gotten a screenshot to capture, but womp womp. They block screenshots on UFC Fight Pass because they hate freedom. Really, what it is. Anyway, very stoked for this next match. We'll go over the details here in a second, but we have 3 more matches left here on this evening, and I'm happy to walk you guys through them. My thanks to everybody tuning in. I hope you're having a great night as well. And feel free to chime off in the comment section. I've got eyes on as much of them as possible, but this is one of those solid matches that you guys want to keep an eye on. And yes, we do still have our co-main and main event, which are incredibly spicy. So do not go anywhere. Butts in seats, stay here with us. Do not leave. You do not want to miss out on what is happening here tonight. But right now, you got Isaque, and I believe his dance partner on this one is going to be one Ronaldo Souza Jr. So you got Ronaldo Jr. and Isaque Benitez, but should be fun. I do wonder how the placement went because I would not have put Dante and Andy below this. Sometimes it's written into your contract. Maybe sometimes you need a break if you're Andre Galvo in between them. I wouldn't. That's just me. So here we go. We're doing a little bit of the tail of the tape. Fairly similar. We're going to get back to the action now. And if you guys, again, questions, comments, concerns, that's awesome. But it means a lot to us if you give us a like, a share, a subscribe, anything you can do to tell people we are currently broadcasting this beast, this behemoth. It really does mean the world to us. And I thank you guys for tuning in with us. It is awesome. What better way to spend a wonderful Thursday evening than by hanging with some of your virtual friends? Oh, now you're cursing. Oh, look at this one. All the jokes from this one. You see it? Can't take her seriously. You lost me. I'm going to start asking you guys if you're AI. That's what I'm going to start doing. All right. They're moving them on over to the center. Left, right, and we go. Isaque starting to press the action very quickly. Ronaldo a little bit on the back foot. Isaque looks for that single, doesn't quite get it. Ronaldo jumps and leaps at him and tries to keep the guard going on right here. They're going to move them back to the center of the mats. That is probably the fastest we have had the beginning of a match restart in a position, but it kind of shows you how these boys want to get after it today. So keep eyes on this one, my friends. Okay, here we go. Back to the action. Ronaldo looking for that leg here. There's a reap. It's a good start. I don't know if he'll be able to finish, but it is definitely enough to keep Isaque very, very compromised in this position. So he's a little high on the leg, but I think he's just doing a check here. He's essentially reinforcing that grip. They're both halting on the action currently. I think Isaque is being very cautious because he doesn't want to give too much more of his leg. And Ronaldo has such a stronghold on it that now he's gripping it, and I think Isaque doesn't like what's happening. Again, I think when it happens on your calf, it is incredibly inconvenient. But Ronaldo looks like a pretty strong person, so I think it's just still enough that it makes you uncomfortable as you're dealing with it. So intrigued to see how those two are going to play that one on out. Yes. Thank you so much for that prompt. I'll get back to you a little bit later. That was from our good friend Kevin Sherrill. As we are getting our program ready for tomorrow's bullpen, you do not want to miss the bullpen with myself, Tim Freeman, and Kevin Sherrill. And you don't want to miss seeing us on Fight Pass in November. when we will be your official pre and post show for the PGF, November 3rd through November 8th. And we are a little bit at a standstill here. Interestingly enough, Isaque brought his arm underneath that figure four with the legs of Ronaldo Jr. And I think it's to try and alleviate some of the pressure while also inching it up and maybe reversing that pressure from what's happening on his leg to putting it more on Ronaldo. Keenan used to detail this idea that when somebody was trying to knee bar your leg, if you could bring your arm on the inside where the break is supposed to be on the knee line, you give yourself a little bit of time and space so that you don't take and absorb as much damage. This is intriguing because the reap seems like it's the thing that's most problematic. And now Ronaldo goes belly down and does not get it. And as a result, they Tasmanian devil their way back into a whirlwind and end up back into half guard. Now this is going to be where Isaque gets to move a little bit better because he is better when he doesn't have that constraint. That constraint was really slowing down his output of that figure four. And I mean, that's just what happens when you get that 50-50 just on the reverse side. Woo! I think it's interesting that you can get an extra little collar slap there when you are getting backed into the area where the tables are and those placards are. This is a great question, by the way. Punctual Error asks, do you like monster trucks or fire trucks? Man, I gotta go with fire trucks, dude, because as a kid, everybody wanted the fire truck. I didn't want to be a fireman, but fire trucks are fucking way baller. So thank you for that, Punctual Error. What an important question to ask. Thank you for that. All right, back to the action. 6:37 left to go in this match. And we are seeing this one now kind of slow play in front of us. You know what's so interesting is it's not that it's necessarily slower action on that one. You did see almost a push kick that was from Ronaldo as well. Ronaldo crushing that arm from the inside. Look for that little shoulder crunch sweep. Doesn't quite get it. Still playing off of his back. And Isaque kind of like messing with them with some of these gestures. What's up, the King? Robert Pyler, you said hi. I'll say hello back. Good to see you. Thank you so much for watching. You are watching the Grappling Hour as we are watching the UFC Fight Pass Invitational number 8. Okay. Ronaldo staying calm, weaves the legs on the other side, trying to create a base. They're going to stop the action, move them back to the center of the mats yet again. Nope, just kidding. I think that was just a weird warning. And for what, I'm not entirely clear about. So give me a second as I get some information here. Oh, Isaque is on a heel hook here, and Ronaldo was in trouble and still may be so, but managed to get his leg out, and they have to put a break to the action as they convince these warriors to, not kill each other as much right now. So 5:12 left on this clock right now. It's an intriguing match, I'll give it it says, just joined, what's going on? You have Isaque Benays versus Ronaldo Jr. And thus, it's kind of an interestingly tense match. It is weird to have right after Varela and Dante, but they're not bad in terms of action. I think they are trying to make something happen. It's just we haven't quite gotten to one person looking like they're running away with it just yet. The hard part for this is not a match where I feel we need to see overtime, but I get increasingly worried that it is a match we will see overtime for. So more to come on that one, friends. 4:20 left to go in the match. A little bit of standing up from both these gentlemen. You say you're not a sports fan, but you'll stay for a little bit. All good. We do a little bit of everything here on this show. Obviously, this is primarily a sports broadcast for the UFC Fight Pass Invitational, but We're also pop culture enthusiasts, so you can throw any question at me about pop culture, and if I'm entertained by it, I will entertain it. So, just saying. And you just wrote Castanon, thanks for this. No, thank you for watching. And the kindest thing you can do is give us a like and a subscribe on our YouTube page at Grappling Hour. It really does mean the world to us. So thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you. And we are seeing with 3:33 left to go, we're kind of in that forehead wrestling portion of the match. You know, not super great wrestling, just a little bit more of shoving aggressively and almost into the crowd. And yep, that one dude just had his mind blown, and that just happens to be Mourad Divashili. So yeah, I think he's pretty happy about it. And I do see right now Ronaldo might be in on a guillotine, but has to let it go, even though they were outside. That dude had so much time on the floor. I am surprised they let him lock that up. But I think they're trying to let these guys have fair play as they go through these matches. So 3 minutes are left in this match. We'll see what's going on here. It's a very, very, very interesting back and forth mission between all of these gents. And I see a few of you. Thank you so much for this. You guys are continuing to watch along with us on all these different places. So I'm seeing some notes here from different streams that I didn't think we were on that. But lo and behold, what's up, Michael Ochoa? Thank you so much. I should say this. If you give us a subscribe, a like and a subscribe, we will do a toast specifically to you. Normally, we do toast to those who get finishes within regulation as athletes, but we'll do one to you if you do that for us. You just kind of you may have to show me it because sometimes it doesn't show me somebody has subscribed to us on uh, my little notifications here. So sometimes I'm a little bit behind. But if you do, I'm happy to do that for you. So there's that. All right. We're winding down on this one. Just last 2 minutes. It is not the most exciting one we've seen. It is, it's still going. It's not that bad. And Ronaldo looked like he had a real high elbow guillotine finish. This could be a real thing. This could be a finish right now. But Isaque doing an excellent job of keeping him at bay, and they're once again rolling into the audience. And you have to wonder if he's going to be able to maintain that grip when they reset him over on the side. I get the impression they will not. We'll see. Deal. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, this is confusing. I'm not quite sure what to make of any of that just yet. Nonetheless, we are seeing you guys watch along with us. We appreciate you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're having a great day watching these grappling matches. Just subbed and liked. Well, let me double check this here. Senor the King. I did just see one go in. You know what? That's good enough for me. This toast goes on out to the King, Robert Pyler. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing to our show. You are a treasure and an asset to your community, and we love you and appreciate you. Have a great rest of your day, sir. Right now, speaking of having a good day, Ronaldo Jr. is on the back. And being on the back right now, he is very much in the mode of being able to get this rear naked choke on Isaque as he's isolating the arms. Good Lord. Now switches it over to an armbar. Isaque is in trouble right now, but manages to get turned inside into Ronaldo Jr.'s guard. And unfortunately, my friends, we are going to go to overtime on this one. So, yep, time just expired on that one. To overtime we go. Again, not the world's best, but like I kind of see the appeal of this one. I kind of see that we're making something happen here. It's just sometimes watching a match and you want it to be a little bit better, and then you realize you're just in the space of thinking, you know what really sucks? It just sucks that this isn't as solid as you wanted it to be, just given the placement of where it is. Like, if this had aired before Andy Varela and Dante Leon, I think you'd probably be like, well, that seems okay. You had the Canuto match. That was kind of fun. We had this action kind of goes here. I think the problem is when you have people whose biggest credentials are IBJJF credentials, it is a little bit of a crapshoot in sub-only rules. Now that we're getting to the actual part where they could, emphasize could, get to points, maybe this part is a little bit better, but I digress. So yeah, we're about to get to our last three matches, and it says, oh, Jarek has light and blue belt cheer Pora. Oh, well then, yo, this one goes out to you. Is it Yair or I don't think it's Jer. Whoever calls you Jer is probably wrong, Yair. And listen, if I'm saying it wrong, it's just because of my regional dialect. But I want to say this to you. Thank you so much for being a valued member of the Grappling Hour community. I have heard you're the guy who figured out no thumbs when you do a Gable grip. Because thumbs every single time. Literally talking to my students, be like, here, that's cool. They always will literally do this. I'll be like, no thumbs. I said no thumbs. God damn it. But anyway, Castellan, thank you so much for watching along. We love and appreciate you. And guess what we just saw right now? A finish from Ronaldo Jr. Turns out all you had to do was sprinkle a little bit onto a match, and you're going to get a finish. Now, here's the rule, though. We do cheers for those who get finishes in overtime. So we'll just say I'm happy he was able to get his finish. There were a couple times where I thought he had it, especially with that high elbow guillotine in regulation. I thought that was pretty good. But beating somebody of Isaque's caliber is difficult to do. So congratulations are in order. Yes, I feel like the match got better at the very end. So there is that. Let's see. I think we're about to hear from Brandon McCatherine interviewing Ronaldo, question mark? No, they're going to replays, which is fine, but we'll see. We'll see if they are going to do the interview right now. We are on hold, but yet they are showing how he was able to finish off. What a beautiful finish, actually, by Ronaldo. Smiles, the happiest of smiles, when he was able to get that finish right there. So congratulations to him as he points on upward. Good on him. Nope, no interview on that one, though. We are continuing on right now. Well, that's going. I get. I see it. It says, I get chair a lot. It's Jair. I'm a former Mexican. What'd you do? What do you mean former Mexican? You can't be a former Mexican. It's not like something you don't renew and you don't get like a license. You're like, oh, I used to have a driver's license, but I forgot to renew it. Yeah, I used to be a Mexican, but I forgot to fill out that paperwork. Oopie doopie. Anyway, Jair, good to see you. Very close to Ja Rule, but I'm going to call you Jair if you want to say that. You know what? Jair sounds like the Hispanic version of a Les Mis character. So it's about as close as I can do as a joke for that one. And it's pretty nerdy. It says, turn Brazilian. So it's this is my favorite one. It says, Link. I'll come back to you. It says, who won between Souza and Cisneros? Didn't catch it. Harvey's WS, you need to go watch that one. So far, that has been the match of the night. I cannot recommend that one enough. And in overtime, you did see that, yes, Gabriel Souza was able to pick up the win on that one by 2 points, 2-0 over a very formidable Josh Cisneros. And I feel like that's a match you could see again in the future. So there is that. And it says, it's a quote from someone who asked Dana a question. I see now. There you go. Thank you for that. I love when our fans are incredibly big fans of the Dana White press conferences. You know, look at this. Look at this beautiful clip of the PGF. Yours truly, a small part of that production. I am the official pre and post show host. I host along with my good friends Tim Freeman and Kevin Sherrill, and we will be back for season 7. But right now, they're plugging the feud that had part 2 of a chapter at the very, very formidable PGF series, which was incredible to be a part of. So, November 3rd through 8th, you're going to want to watch the PGF and see myself and my incredible friends who do the best work in the entire world. As far as I'm concerned, I don't see anybody else who does better work than the good folks over at the PGF. What's up, bartender Eddie? Good Lord, I didn't see you stuck in here, but I have to say, this is always a good thing to see my brother Eddie, bartender Eddie. Bartender Eddie is a guy who competed against me, who is perhaps the nicest guy who's ever competed against me. And I have to say, most of the guys are actually pretty nice, but Bartender Eddie is just the nicest savage. So cannot wait to see that guy again. You know what we need to do? I think the next time we compete, we do have to figure out a way to go get beers afterwards, because he promised me that the last time, and I was like, yo, we need to make that happen. And I've seen what Bartender Eddie does for his drinks. That dude is an artist. So much love and respect to my brother out that way. Oh, speaking of somebody who zero respect for it, that dude Jason just showed up. Good Lord, that guy. Hey, I just saw what you're looking to sign up for, and if that's the case, we need to get some work in, sir. So let me know when you're free, and we'll make something happen for training. But super stoked to see all of you guys joining us. And you picked a good time to show up, because right now it is PJ Barch versus Nato Canuto. And this, I mean, both these boys have wins. You had a very controversial decision for Renato Canuto, and then you saw PJ avenge that loss with a heel hook finish at the PGF. So there is a lot riding on this match for these two boys this evening. So very stoked to see these guys get back to action. And it says, let me see here. It says it's currently 3:22 a.m. right now, and I have school today, so I may head out now. Nice stream, though. What a sweetheart. Thank you so much for that, Robert. I hope that you enjoyed the time that you were here, and I hope we'll see you back in the future. Thank you for your love and support, and we hope to, I don't know, run into you sooner than later. So thanks for that. Yeah, you guys, this is the one that you kind of want to be here for. What's up, Uppercuts Cano? Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining. I hope all is well. Appreciate you for coming through. You guys, this is, like I said, I don't want to overstate this match, but two of these guys are just incredibly upstanding individuals. They're very good at jiu-jitsu, and on a given night, either of them can win. I feel like the favorite for tonight may lean toward PJ Barch, because when you do hit somebody with a heel hook, especially after a decisionist win where some people thought you won and you kind of put a big button on it, and considering that heel hook finish was only just back in April, so you do have the momentum going on your side. The question is, with somebody as tricky, evasive, and incredibly athletic as Renato Canuto, you don't always know what he has in store for you. And his movement patterns are incredibly difficult to predict or to be a person that can actually go up against. So I'm intrigued to see who, what, where, when, and why happens in this match. But thank you all for joining in. And I continue to thank you guys for watching along with us. I hope that you're having a good night. But right now, you gentlemen are going to get after it. And I hope that you guys are ready to hear us talk all about it. And that match comes to you in the next 20 seconds. So they're doing the Canuto name announcement. But earlier in the day, you did see a bunch of people that are packed in that arena, in that Apex Center for Canuto's wife. So you know that hybrid team has basically flooded that Apex Center. All right, Canuto already starting to show off some movement. Looked like he was just showing him off center that he could get the takedown. He does get the takedown very quickly, just within 13 seconds. PJ Barch, not easy to take down, but he might have caught him by surprise here. PJ Barch starting to look at the leg, though. He may have a grip on it. That is a heel hook. Canuto's in trouble. He has to free that knee line. He is still in it. He's trying to roll through, but I think he might be rolling through the opposite way. Manages to survive that initially, and they go straight to the audience. Now, listen, guys. This is why I do vote for the pit. Yes, it is nicer when we have the pit that keeps most audience members somewhat at bay. So anyway, here we go. Canuto, I mean, that's got to be good for both of those guys. Canuto, you felt like you got a little bit of shine getting that takedown within a few seconds. And for PJ, you saw that heel hook is very much in play, that you could repeat your success that you had at the PGF if you play it right. So it'll be very intriguing to see how the rest of this one plays out, you guys. My thanks again to everybody who's tuning in. I've seen people trickle in and out throughout the evening, and we just want to say thank you so much for watching along with us. We hope that you're enjoying this broadcast of the Grappling Hour, watching this event. And right now, PJ Barch, Canuto, feeling each other out still. We're still very much at a pace where I very well go the distance. So how much do you want to burn yourself out? Do you want to make sure that you're still going to have gas in the tank for when you face your opponent in a very exhausting overtime? And I mean, these boys were at the PGF, so they know what exhaustion can look like. They know that you could get so tired. Oh, couldn't tell if that was a poke of the eye, but I think we're good again. All right, back to the wrestling, standing up here. And PJ now making sure to keep connected to Canuto, because I think that initial entry, it just kind of pounced out of nowhere for him within those first few seconds. He probably didn't imagine he could get taken down that easily like that. And I have to tell you, our good friend Cam Hurd did get submitted by PGF at PJ Barch, but he had a high source of pride in knowing he got a takedown on one PJ Barch. So just judging at how this is going right now, underhook here by PJ. Canuto might get dragged down here, but I mean, Canuto can make those fixes. Both men release, and now we're back to a little bit of a pummeling game as our referees and our outside protectors are making sure the audience stays as safe as possible. I mean, there was an almost snatch single there by Canuto, who kind of like just lets it go, reframes, gets it back. And it says, mat size is never big enough, it seems. I mean, that's for sure. It is very confusing to try and have the proper mat size for any of these. Like, we don't know what to do. I mean, again, that goes back to the pit idea. But it's also an athlete and adjudicator sort of thing. Like, your referee should be stopping these. But at the same point, can you be as fast as Renato Canuto? I know I cannot. And it says, brother, do you have some link? Can't replay this enough, but I am the link. I know the people who work at Fight Pass. I know the people who work at Flow Grappling. I'm not sacrificing my channel. So this is like our nice little middle ground. I give you the play-by-play. I tell you what's happening, and this is free. So just saying. We are not quite at the halfway point just yet, but again, we're still very much at the feeling out portions of it. Now, I like this strategy from PJ, getting this collar tie and seeing maybe if he can duck down the head of Canuto. If you take out the head a little bit, it does become harder to drive the body. PJ kind of bursts in, does get double unders, and does kind of get the takedown. It's reverse. God damn, well placed there by Canuto, whose just body mechanics are always top tier. Now this plays into where Canuto is best. Canuto is such a beast at passing, at maintaining an incredible speed and pace. And if there's one thing that you can do is you can, if you're Canuto, not me, you can tire PJ out. It's just you have to find ways to make your body incredibly heavy on a person that eats pressure. Like the thing that we see PJ do is, yeah, he's an incredibly talented grappler, but I think, oh, nice little Kimura attempt here, kind of powers over. PJ's committing to it. Canuto is not really selling it. Very much staying neutral on this. May look to see if he can wrap his arm on around the body of PJ and neutralize this kind of Kimura from underneath. But PJ's using it. He does have a good grip. We'll see how he's able to play it. He's using it as leverage to try and come up a little bit more. Canuto isn't budging on it. He does get it. It does have a slight more moment. I wonder if PJ kind of let that go because he thought he actually got a tap in the middle of that. He did not. But now, result, man, Canuto read that incredibly well and came up, gets a takedown of it. Now, kind of seeing if he can get just a little bit of a reaction, not quite in the steam of lock off that one, but just enough to see what PJ may or may not do. So here we are. 3:56 left to go in this match. And it has been very tense, very, very tense. PJ going back to where his bread and butter is with Canuto and seeing if he can attack the leg. He's trying on his left side, but he might actually be, if he switches over to the left side, he might actually have an ability to get him here. He thought for a split second he was going to be able to attack now. Lifts it out. Yep. Switches to the other side now again. Canuto's a little bit stuck with this outside 50-50. Now PJ's coming through, has it stored, passes it to the other side. Canuto needs to be very cautious. He's trying to grab the other leg, and he almost has it. He's sneaking it around. Now Canuto's staying very tight, but it's a very, very dangerous position for Canuto to stay in with somebody as seasoned as PJ. But you are seeing those signs of slight fatigue from PJ Barch, who does come up, does bump Canuto's hip down to the mat. We should remind you, this is only a sub-only match. So it really doesn't matter if he's getting points. Like in IBJJF, you would get points for this particular moment. But he does not in this portion. It is just sub-only for the first 10 minutes. When we go into overtime, this one might actually be 5 minutes because it's a little bit more of a main attraction, but that remains to be seen. Good Lord, these guys still going back. I think Canuto was slowly ripping his way out, but PJ has just been massive grip on that. Now, oh, good Lord, Canuto recognizes in this kind of donkey guard-esque transition that the two of them are in. PJ, I think he has to play this one a little bit slow because I think in this particular juncture, he's putting his weight onto Canuto from that donkey guard, which will maybe make it release. But now they reverse position. And I think for a split second, PJ was maybe thinking about maybe going to like a toe hold or maybe going on over to the A block, which is a very, very effective maneuver from that position. But now PJ's arm is stuck in that donkey guard with that arm. They reverse position again. PJ now on top. There's 1 minute and 37 seconds left to go. Great back and forth between these gents. And you are seeing both of them just fight an inch, and the referee puts a pause on them as he's going to probably drag them back on over to the center of the mats because I think they want to get their money on return. I think they want to get as much mat return as possible, and they do stand them back up, which is, I mean, a blessing for us as an audience. Minute 24 left to go in this match. PJ, as we mentioned before, an incredible performer, but seeing a little bit of tiredness on this, you get the sense that that focus that he has when he does get his submissions, it is harder to do toward the end. He does get a little bit less effective with his submissions the longer you go. And I think that's fair to say for most people. All right, 55 seconds left in this match. All of the referees trying to curtail the athletes back to the center of the mats. keeping them on track as possible. And you are seeing PJ now kind of like stands up, the body pressure, or I'm sorry, the body posture getting a little less wrestler like and a little bit more like, oh, my back hurts a little bit. This sucks. And guess what? Ooh, Canuto goes for that scissor take. He might be on a fucking attack of his own. And oh shit, I thought I just saw it for a second. He did get it. What a fucking end to that match. Wow. That was so risky for a number of reasons, and let me tell you why. One, you saw that Canuto at PGF got heel hooked. So, how did he get heel hooked? Why? Because PJ is one of the best counter leg attackers in the game. Then you see Canuto seeing a scissor takedown, gets the scissor takedown, and in that moment, in that transition, has PJ's leg in danger. And PJ, very savvy, looked like he was about to get out, had a chance to get out, looked like he was screaming, and Canuto did not yield. He made sure to keep that pressure on and ends up with the submission victory with just seconds left. And here you go, scissor takedown, beautifully done, has the heel hook. You see PJ turn, and then, I mean, he gets pushed in the fucking face. And now you do see in that moment, Canuto finishes, and it's beautiful. PJ thought about tapping as he was falling back, but I think the weird part is you see the mouthpiece, but the mouthpiece almost made it seem like PJ was actually laughing. If he was laughing, it could be for the irony. But yes, the very move that was his anchor that gave him the win against Canuto the last time they met was the move that was used against him, and a little bit of poetic justice in a match that now gives Canuto the edge in their small rivalry. And I say small rivalry because these two respect each other too much. They have so much love for each other. It doesn't feel like an adversarial rivalry, just a competitive one. And BMAC is interviewing both these athletes. BMAC asks, "How do you feel?" And says, "We both feel great." And PJ goes, "We do." And PJ said he didn't let him get on top. And he said it was an incredible game plan. Hats off. And BMAC now is playing up to the fact that all of Canuto students, what does it feel like to win in front of all those people? So when Canuto was asked how he feel, he's like, I don't know, man. It just all of us had a dream to fight in the UFC. This is motherfucking cool. And he says that the UFC Fight Pass pays him good. So, oh my goodness. And BMAC is now saying there's a lot of possible matchups. And he's like, who do you have in mind? Canuto says, when I win, it's whoever comes after me. Oh, what a sweetheart. What a great moment for Canuto, who goes over to celebrate with his students in attendance. That is a truly great moment. I had a question over here from Jacob, who just asked, main event up next. And to that, I believe, yes, that does put us at the main event right now. So just in case you guys were wondering, the co-main was Canuto and PJ Barch. Your main event versus Michael Pixley and the $1 million grappler Nicky Rod is coming up in just a few seconds. So hang tight with us. We're going to enjoy this match, and we are so happy that you guys are joining us on this wonderful Thursday evening. It's been an incredible, incredible night. It says, did he Kami Basami that guy? I mean, essentially, yes. And how do I put this? It was just flawless. Like that's the person who you do trust to do that move. You don't trust a lot of people to do that move, but you do trust him to do that move. And not only do you trust him to do that move, he has the wherewithal, the body mechanics to know how to do it where it just looks so clean and effortless. So I feel like this is one of those matches that, um, you know, you hate to see that there's going to be winners or losers, but you also know that when you do watch it, it is just incredible to watch. It is an incredible. I mean, I'm so happy for Canuto. I love PJ. PJ is a longtime friend of the show. I'm just happy those guys are getting their opportunity to be on such a huge program like this and to show out in such a way where you can easily say, man, on any given night, you feel like either of them could win a match. Like it's just it can go back and forth. That shit is it could still not be done, but I did want to point out, one of the things I was mentioning for PJ in particular is when he was mentioning that he didn't let PJ get on top, it's the relentless pressure, and I think that ends up fatiguing PJ. And maybe it was a 6-minute match, it's a little bit different. You don't want to say the outcome would have been different tonight, but you do start to wonder what those factors are. But I did make a guess in the middle of the match. I just thought, yeah, I feel like Canuto's the guy that can always upset PJ with his speed, his endurance, and tonight that was the case. He definitely did it, and there was a little bit of flashy technique for those of you nerds that like that stuff. So definitely a really good night for Renato Canuto. And what's really good is we've gone through a series of matches, and we're going to end probably at about the 3-hour mark. So you got your last match right now. Michael Pixley made his way out, and joining him is going to be one Nicky Rodriguez, who at this point might be the guy. Like, if you consider the fact that he had one of the biggest seeing grappling cards of all time at the Craig Jones Invitational, probably up there as one of the biggest draws in all of jiu-jitsu. So it has got to be feeling a good place for Nicky Rod here tonight. We'll see how he does when he has a very, very skillful competitor. And I say that because I'm not sure how many of you predicted that Miragali would have gotten tooled by Pixley. And how well did that play out? In that one of the controversies that happened at trials was that Bradley didn't get his spot because Pixley was given 2 points. Now, we're still here at the show of the mindset that we didn't see those 2 points happen when they should have. I thought Bradley should have been invited. But then you got the moment with Pixley and Miragali, and you go, well, that worked out well for him. And even though Bradley didn't make it to the finals of the Craig Jones Invitational, he still made $10K, which is more than you would have won if you had gone to ADCC. So, if anything, this whole scenario just brought up a series of, oh, that's cool. Oh, that played out well. Oh, that did work. So, a lot to consider as you go through these myriad of possibilities and ways that these things play out. So my thanks to you guys for joining in. What's up, Arturo? Good to see you. I hope all is well. I hope you are having a good day. I appreciate you for stopping in. Hope you are enjoying this beautiful Thursday evening. And the main event with Pixley and with Nicky Rod, I think this should be interesting because now the question is, Pixley has all of this hype around him based off his ADCC run. Is he going to create such an upset here tonight against the $1 million grappler in Nicky Rod? That is the $1 million question here tonight. And let's say he does beat Nicky Rod. What does that mean? But what do you mean? Like, if he beats Nicky Rod tonight, does that dequalify part of CJI? Does it delegitimize the process what does it mean if somebody makes that big of an upset? And then do you see Miragali get in the chat and say, like, well, actually, I'm still really good because I lost to that guy too. And in actuality, when I get my revenge tour, I will be better than everybody. In fact, I'm already better than everybody. And if you're Gordon, you are in town. We did see he was training with Gable Stevenson and with John Jones, which is the Nightmare Blunt rotation. So there's a lot here. I do wonder if Nicky Rod does win tonight. Does the UFC Fight Pass Invitational, do they have the opportunity to make that match between Gordon and Nicky Rod happen? Because Nicky Rod was the one to say, I'll put up $1 million. And the common wisdom says that you would do that at the Craig Jones Invitational, but you almost get the sense that Gordon would never do the Craig Jones Invitational. So what do we get from that? The match begins now. Nicky Rod and Michael Pixley. Nicky Rod opts to just pull guard here, and probably a very wise choice. Oh, so I think you have to make contact before you pull guard here. And it says, Miragali's in the chat already. His girlfriend has school in the morning. Probably, dude. Good Lord. That man has weird justifications for it. But we're not going to get into that yet. We're going to get into this match. And yes, telling Nicky Rod he has to stand up is an intriguing thing. He did look like he was going to sit down. Nicky Rod is one of the best people at doing a fake guard pull, where it looks like he's about to kneel and then he just darts at your knees. I've seen him do it multiple times, and I've always wondered how he would execute that. And now Nicky Rod almost looked like he was either showing off his leg or just basically telling him and inviting him to take it down. But I love that. It was a very nonchalant, like, take it. Look at it. Pixley does kind of push Nicky Rod outside of the bounds for a few seconds. They return back to the center of the mats, and Nicky Rod immediately goes for that club, doesn't quite get to the dig portion. And wow, Michael Pixley has a very aggressive kick to that leg, trying to off-balance Nicky Rod, as Nicky Rod goes and almost used that as an opportunity to pull guard. I think when Nicky Rod was interviewed earlier this week, they were asking him, what's the game plan? Do you find yourself as somebody who's going to try and make this a stand-up match? And Nicky Rod just said, I do jiu-jitsu. I thought that was a very interesting answer. I mean, I don't know that that would have been the case, that you would hear him say something like that maybe 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. But that just goes to show you how different things are in this world. And I saw this and it says nasty wrestle ups from Nicky Rod. Of course, I mean, he is definitely somebody who has explosive power, being as tall as he is and as big as he is. So that is why one of these matches between him and Pixley makes for an ideal sort of matchup. And I think the weird part is it's one of the few times where Nicky has had that advantage, that drive over some of the older statesmen of the big boy division. So now when you get somebody who's young and grimy and has judo awareness, you do wonder, like, I think he's in the space where he's like, I don't want to waste time wrestling with this dude. I want to pull guard. I've seen the future. I've seen the light, you guys. Pulling guard is the real. And it says, is the event over? It says, let me go check this out. Thanks. Different rule set. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, obviously the event's still going on. We're in the middle of the main event. It's tense. It's a little interesting to see how this will play out between these two gentlemen. But thus far in, a lot of movement has been posturing for a position. Nicky Rod, very nice little drag down there with the head. He uses his head movement as well very nicely. And I saw our referee putting up a 1 over that way. Either he's a huge Roman Reigns fan, or maybe we had a negative point happen. A lot of pushing happens on the edges, not a lot of takedowns. I see a note here that says Discord. Hey, Discord. Well, good. We have a Discord. You can go check us out at Grappling Hour on Discord. We appreciate you guys. Always means a lot to us to have your love and support. And we see a lot of you guys are showing up right now. So if you're joining us, please enjoy us giving you some play-by-play and some alternate commentary streams to the big show, the big main event for Fight Pass Invitational number Ocho. All right, still trying to wrestle off of his knees. Nicky Rod almost seems to be conceding a little bit here, which honestly is probably the rule set that you want to do that with, especially considering there are no real judges until the very end. Nicky Rod now just kind of flashing that leg with these little mini kicks as if to signal, I need you to initiate this so that I can play off your ego of being a better wrestler so I can win the jiu-jitsu match. And I would have told you that was the strategy to use against him 4 years ago. And here we are. Yep. Basically wanted to load him up, and yeah. Front row does not feel safe. I think for a split second, they were calling for timeout. At least the referee was, just to let our judges table know something, because Nicky Rod wanted, I think, the underhook that he had that he ended up with. He tried very hard to make sure he was posing in that position toward the end. He does not get to keep it. Both the gentlemen just start standing regularly. Nicky Rod uses that ability to have that game of one-handed mercy so that he can draw a pull, tries to wrestle up, and then just kind of gets put into a brick wall with Pixley. And now, I mean, honestly, the audience is part of this match. The most intense action comes when they're right on the edge and they start pushing one another into the audience. Like, that is what this is kind of turning into. And, in terms of the circus, if bears ever broke bad, they never get outside of the area and get pushed into the audience. This is a case where the bears may kill the audience. Just very possibly here. 5 minutes on the dot right now, still left in this match. Nicky Rod keeping a nice grip on the back of that bicep, tries for a little bit of an arm drag, doesn't get it. And I mean, they're real close to Pixley's corner. So they do stop him. The cameraman is spared. Otherwise, the cameraman might have been seeing stars in just a few seconds. So this is yikes times 3, my friends. Still, we persist, and there is potentially a takedown off the mats. We'll see how they'll rule this one. Yes. And this is going to start in Nicky Rod's favor, as there is a body lock. And I think Nicky Rod's trying to tell him you start from inside of the guard with this body lock position. So if that is the case, that is an incredibly good position for Nicky Rod. And Pixley seems kind of game for it. He's almost able to close this guard up. But this is the money position for Nicky Rod. So if you aren't able to make this position work for you, this is something that could play a little bit on the confidence of the guy trying to implement the offense here. All right, Nicky Rod trying to get that knee over. Can't quite do it yet, but it's just kind of force justifying that position. Almost looked like he wanted to do an underhand slap, almost like he was at combat jiu-jitsu. Pixley is in danger of getting his guard passed, but does an excellent job of maintaining some positional control. He still has Nicky Rod in half, but Nicky Rod now gets the second underhook here. And now Pixley playing a little bit of what is affectionately referred to as ref guard. Nicky Rod a little bit lower on that underhook now, is just trying to spider crawl it up. May have something to do here. I think right now the frame for Pixley might make him able to get back to a guard position. Nicky Rod has to be very careful about where his hip ends up, because if that's the case, yep. Right now, Nicky Rod may end up back in guard. Still waiting to see how this turns out. He's still in the guard section. So it's kind of dicey. Nicky Rod almost. And Nicky Rod does, for a split second, see the better part of Mount. And now Pixley is just continuing to try and kick push him off. Nicky Rod rides those kick pushes very aggressively. Pixley has the ability to maybe get guard here completely, but he has one problem. The side that Nicky Rod is trying to pass is the leg that needs to get out and create the full guard. And Nicky Rod is essentially kneeing the shit out of it. Pixley was looking for the arm there. That might have opened Pandora's box for Nicky Rod to pass. He is close. There is an underhook here. This allows Nicky to potentially tripod if he wants to. But Nicky Rod's kind of just stuck in this position for a heartbeat. We'll see what he's able to do in this particular position. Jesse, link to the Discord. I mean, you guys have all these asks as we're doing. I'll get you one right now, man. But yeah, dude, it is incredibly fun to see you guys joining us. Nicky Rod almost passed, still in this half guard. I mean, Pixley might look for a lockdown, but it almost feels like it's not going to do shit against Nicky Rod. Almost look for a full guard there. I mean, you're going to see Nicky Rod slow play this hand. He will make the most out of that body lock pass. Does get to Mount. All right, so if you're Nicky Rod, you need to submit here. You do not want to go to overtime because it's going to stand you right back up. So at this point, you got 1 minute and 6 seconds left to go. And Pixley is a game opponent. He has proven very savvy, so it's going to be a little difficult. But now Nicky Rod looking almost for kind of like a baseball bat choke to kind of just put some pressure on. I don't think that's necessarily going to work, but I've also never been underneath it. It just looks like Pixley's kind of eating it. I wonder if it's to loosen up something else. I mean, if he baits it, there is that head and arm there that does look spicy enough, but Pixley's getting over to his side, and that may be enough to kind of rock the boat to make sure he makes it to the overtime. I thought for a split second he was looking at covering the mouth there. Difficult to determine. Last 15 seconds here, people. Nicky, I think, is just kind of understanding that's what's going to take at this point. He's going to have to go to that overtime period as he goes to cover the mouth, perhaps to just get a few extra seconds of an edge. All right, while they do that, we're going to go to a quick commercial, and we will be right back. All right, we are back. Thank you so much for taking a minute to give love to our sponsor, Salt Electrolytes, and we appreciate them. I mean, Nicky Rod is in on a single leg here. Pixley a little too wary for that one, knew it was coming. Appreciate you guys for sticking with us. This is the overtime of your main event. Now, here's an interesting thing. Nicky Rod has -1 and Pixley has -3. So both these boys have to kind of get into the points portion, if you could, hopefully with a negative outside at this point. Hopefully they actually get points on the board. And for those of you who just came in, it was a very tense back and forth. It did look like Nicky Rod at least was able to dominate the last 3 minutes of that match. And now he's at a body lock, which will give him 2 points. I was about to say, I was like, body lock doesn't just happen. You have to get points for that. So he is at a body lock at this moment. And I mean, he proved that he was able to pass previously. If Nicky Rod wants to try to hold this position, probably could just win doing that, honestly. But instead, Pixley able to get back to a little bit of guard, pushes him off, and now we are out of space where Nicky Rod is kind of shoring up. I mean, this is where the extra strength feels terrible. You see how red Pixley's face turns in this predicament. And I mean, the weird part is you probably come in with a game plan thinking, if I get here, if I get there, if I get to this position, and if you get an opponent that can just lock you up in one space, you don't get to have any of those. And now Nicky Rod for sure is going to get some mount points. That's going to bring him up to, I believe, 5. And at this point, if he takes that mount, he can work that back and get even more. But yeah, there we go. I was about to say, I was like, where the fuck are those points? You really just decided that mount was only worth 2? Okay. So we take the back. And he should have back points coming in very quickly. So, yeah, those 4 points for the back, pretty dope. Here's the thing to know. There we go. We saw 4 points there and 4 points there. I was wondering where all those points were supposed to be. This is where Nicky Rod is the best. He is able to basically create anything into a rear naked choke, and it does look like he has it very quickly. Gets the job done. 11 to -3 is how that will end on the scorecard, but the submission itself, way more impressive. Nicky Rod gets it done as your $1 million grappler does it on the big stage at Fight Pass Invitational. You know, given the fact that we don't know exactly what's happening with Gordon, I mean, it's undeniable Nicky Rod has to be our biggest attraction right now. I feel like he is the guy who will help us continue to break out and break it open further. BMAC goes to talk to him. I'll give you a recap of what he says. Nicky Rod says, you know, he's very tough. I give him credit. He's a really good guy. He said he saw his work at ADCC, and that's why he wanted to give him time to shine. He really wanted that challenge. BMAC is asking, who do you want to face next? Nicky Rod says he's at a place where he feels like he is the best grappler in the world. So if you guys want the smoke, just hit him up in the DMs. Which oddly, if he wasn't married, would also serve as a, I guess, a pickup line. Very strange. Arturo Ways it says Pixley should stand back up. I mean, that's what you would hope. What's up, Jits Mom? Good to see you. Bumps and bruises. You joined for a minute. Thanks, you guys. I mean, let me put it to you this way. I think Nicky Rod did what needed to be done here tonight. An excellent job performing, an excellent job all around. It's what you want in your main event. You know, gave you a little bit of everything. I mean, gave you some of the wrestling, gave you the mount work, gave you the body lock pass. And then when he took the back, he's very good at finishing from there. That is always going to be like his highest premium. And I see that tonight on the broadcast team, they actually brought in Hamalo Bahal. So that was kind of cool to see. So let's do this. Let's give a few. I know for sure I have to give one toast this evening. And that toast is supposed to go out to our pal, one Canuto. the Hanach Canuto. So before we do that, I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, yeah, we got to do him. Yep, for sure. All right. So this one is going to go out to our good friend, Renato Canuto. Hey, brother, congratulations to you. So happy for your win. I mean, listen, dude, you and PJ are the best of rivals. We got mad love for both of you guys, and beating him is not an easy thing to do. So, big congrats to you. Let's do an interview, and maybe we do this one in person. I'll be in Vegas for the PGF. So let's get together soon, sir. And I hope all is well. Always mad love for you, sir. And congratulations. And by the way, I think you come off best in the PGF. I think of all the athletes, I think you are the smiliest. And when you started calling for stalling from behind the black curtain, dead, died, dead. Anyway, hope to see you soon. Let's do an interview, brother. Much love. Cheers. And then we saw overtime with Ronaldo, Dante Leon. We did the submission cheers for. We did it for some. We only do it for that one. We said congrats to them. Yeah, so we took care of our guys. Nicky Rod, unfortunately, did not get a cheers tonight because he didn't finish the regulation, but it was impressive, so I will give you that. Nonetheless, while we got you guys here, it's a good time to remind you guys, like, comment, subscribe, give us some love, give us some appreciation. Before I sign off, I should say, tell us what your favorite moment from tonight was. For me, I still feel like the match of the night, man, early on, I felt like it was Gabriel Souza and Josh Cisneros. I'll have to wake up in the morning and see how I feel about that one. I think the PJ Barch and Renato Canuto might have edged them out. Now, I know those kids, Souza and Cisneros, were nonstop energy. I just feel like we got a result in the PJ and Canuto match with seconds to go. And I feel like on any given day, those boys could take it. But I feel like Cisneros and Souza, they did a good job. They were very good. Still potentially for some people could be the match of the night. And of course, big shout out Nicky Rod. What an incredible performance here tonight. Great stuff. And got it done and against a very, very tough opponent. So you got there, Nicky Rod's ability, because I'll tell you this much. If I win $1,000,000, y'all ain't seeing me. I win $1,000,000, you guys will not see me competing anymore. I'm like, yo, I can't be bothered to get out of my house for less than 20K. So just saying. A few things you can do for us. First and foremost, if you like our show, give us a like and a subscribe. It really does make a difference. We really do appreciate it. It really, really is the best. So that's the first you can do for us at the Grappling Hour. You can also join us on our Patreon, patreon.com/Grappling Hour. $5 a month, you see our interviews 30 days before anybody else. And for a few extra dollars, you can see extra bonus content that's not available anywhere else. A few other things if you want some Grappling Hour merch, like this shirt. Look at this. Bam. You can head over to rappersparza.com/merch. All of that prize money that I make from that goes directly back into the show. Buys this cool equipment, the mic, the computer, the sound system, the cameras, the lights, all that stuff. So we make good use of that stuff as much as possible. And then last couple notes. Much love and appreciation to all of you guys who tuned in to watch tonight. It always means the world to me that you guys rock with us. It never is lost on me. We love you guys, and we know some of you were new, so we hope that we made new fans of you guys. But you can also find us on literally every single platform at Grappling Hour. So you can find us at Grappling Hour on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of them. Very, very easy to find. So come find us on those platforms and come join us again for some new footage. We're going to release some new interviews in the next week. And then additionally, we're going to do a fight campaign for the upcoming UFC pay-per-view on October 26th. And that's going to be a little bit earlier in the day. So be prepared for that. And yeah, I mean, ladies and gents, I'll just say this. I appreciate you guys. It has been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.